All right, Julie is finishing up the seal coat on the table. This table, we used a linseed oil, a boiled linseed oil on this table. We did 3 coats of boiled linseed oil, and we left each coat soak for about 10 minutes before we wiped it down with lint-free rags. And she just used a brush on it, throwaway brushes. That's what she wanted to put it on. We know that you can wipe it on with a rag, but she wanted to use the brush because she thought she could get it on a little heavier, and we'll let it soak in really good. And I think this thing turned out gorgeous. It's beautiful. After every time she put it on, wait to 10 minutes, and then we'd wipe it down with the lint-free rags, and then we'd do it again and again and again. Did it 3 times on the benches and the tabletop. And as you can see, look at this thing. It's gorgeous. Now, if we decide later down the road we want a shine to this table, we can always put a polyurethane on it. Now, I Googled that to see if we could put a polyurethane over the linseed oil, and it says that we can, but I'm not so sure. I mean, sometimes I Google things and it's not right, but, you know, that's what they say, but I'm not so sure I want a shine to it. I kind of like this natural look to the black walnut. It's beautiful. Now, we did a little bit of epoxy on this table. I don't know if I used the right stuff, the right epoxy for it, but I did my best. Now, I know no food's going to get down in them cracks. So I think it turned out okay. Now, at first, we wasn't going to leave this crack through the center. We was going to kind of put it together, and then as it shrank, it would get a crack in there, but we figured we had better leave the crack in here because if food does get down in there, we're not going to have any way of getting it out unless we unbolt the tabletop. We don't want to do that. That was one thing I really didn't want to do, is unbolt this tabletop. You notice when we painted it, I left the tabletop on there because we had a hard time getting this tabletop level. If you remember, I put some extra braces underneath here, some 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch bar, and what that did was it pulled one of this, like pulled one side up, but over here it would push it down. So this table had a good bit of warp to it. Don't forget, about 3 weeks ago, this wood was on the sawmill, and it's not really dry because a tree that size would take many years to dry. It's not going to dry in just a few years. So this table now, with the linseed oil, they tell us that the linseed oil will help it slow the drying process down, keep it from warping so much and cracking on the ends. You know, a lot of that wood, when it dries, it'll split and crack, and they say this is supposed to help it. So hopefully, cross your fingers, it does, because this thing is like beautiful. It really turned out nice. We did have to pick up a belt sander to sand this thing. Julie and I had days of sanding on this thing, probably 3 days to sand this guy down, just to get a lot of the saw marks out. You know, we didn't care if we got them all out, but we wanted to get most of them out. You wanted a nice smooth surface, that way when you wipe it with a rag, it doesn't take the rag out of your hand. So we tried to get it as smooth as we possibly could, and I really think we did a decent job on this. I think it looks pretty good. Now, I gotta let you guys know, I could never do all this work by myself. If it wasn't for my wife, Julie, helping me. She's by my side. Every time I'm doing something, she's there. If you see her in the videos, she works just as hard or harder than me. We both want the same thing. We definitely have our differences. Having somebody to work with you like that sure makes the job a whole lot easier. I really appreciate my wife and what she does for me. I love you, honey. Back to the table. This table is very heavy. It's got a 2-inch thick top. This top is about 8 foot, I'd say it's 8 foot 4 inches long, 2 inches thick. Most of our work is done, but part of it is going to be getting it from the garage now, in the shop, onto that porch, and without unbolting the tabletop. We could take the 2 benches and set them off. We can go ahead and unbolt them and set them off to the side, and they'll be fine. But we still have to get this heavy thing inside that porch. We're going to have to turn it on its side, kind of fish it through. We have a 36-inch door. The table's only 30 inches tall, so we should be able to turn it on its side and get it inside there. Now, if you remember the benches, they're pretty daggone heavy. We added 3 by 2-inch piece underneath each one of these benches to keep them from bowing. We didn't want that bow, no matter how thick that wood is. It seems like over time, you start to get that bow in it. Now, as they were sitting here and we were sanding them down, we actually got a little bit of a bow in that bench over there. But when we bolted our 2x3-inch boards on the bottom, it took that bow out and straightened it right out. So hopefully that's going to help us out to keep some of that bowing. So our next big thing is getting it to the porch without scratching it up. And we don't have a whole lot of help, but I think we'll get enough to get it on that porch. God willing, fingers crossed, we get it on there without nicking it all up and scratching it. So let's see how that's going to go, because that's going to be next, and I'm thinking we're going to do it today. All right, I think we got it figured out. We can get it to the house without damaging it by just leaving it hooked to the tractor here. I put the forks on there. We got these straps on here. One strap in the back, kind of balancing it out. I think we can get it to the house without tearing it up. So Julie's moving her car. I'm going to wait on just a little bit of help, and we're going to get this thing into the house. All right, we're going to attempt to get this to the porch, to the front door without damaging it. And Julie's going to attempt to run that video camera without being too shaky.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The only thing we got to watch is it doesn't come back and hit the tractor itself. And I think I got it strapped on there just good enough for that, but we're going to go extra slow. I might have to take it up a little bit too. Came back pretty far. Drop the dirt on it. Off the porch. That lets you know it's protected.
Got the table dirty already and we couldn't even make it to the house.
further. That way when we roll the table, it'll be on the cardboard. I think them straps worked out good. They're cloth.
It was better than carrying it all the way over here.
Yeah, definitely better than carrying it. So now the next step is going to be getting this big old thing through the door. Now we do have a 36-inch door, and this thing's only 30 inches high, so we should be able to, well, high from the ground up, so we should be able to turn it on its side and sneak it through that door. Yeah. Still up. Alright, look it up, Brandon. We're going to have to grab here on the bottom of the leg. Okay, so through the door first. Go ahead and start. Alright. Walk around the corner. Okay. Straight to the ground. Okay, just get it down. That's a table. Hopefully you guys got to see it. Well, we got the table through the door. If you was wondering why I said I hope you got to see that, is because my battery on the camera was only at 3%, and we turned it on and tried to get the table in the door so y'all could see if we banged it up, which we did hit the door just a little bit, the frame, but it hit the metal at the bottom. Didn't hurt the frame or the picnic table. No damage done. We got it in there, and that was all that counted. So we're going to finish up this video. I was just out in the garage working on the window frames. I got some measurements on these window frames, and we're going to try to build a live edge windowsill frame for the windows. And hopefully we get them to look just like the table. So I would like to tell everyone, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Until next time.